If you've ever woken up on a Friday and said to yourself, "Self, the weekend has started already." Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Good morning. Happy Friday. We are back with another episode of Live Trading. Ryan doing double duty again here, but it is a lot of fun. We got my man 13 in the back. We got some more money to make before we cruise into the weekend. Let's get rolling.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, folks, we are back again. Happy Friday. Let's dive right into the market. Let me bring on my main man, 13, and his beard here today. 13, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing.
You seem fired up.
I am fired up, man. I'm several cups of coffee deep. It's Friday. We got the Friday vibes. A lot of good stuff going on. We got INOD earnings that we can take a look at when we actually go to that. A little nice little, I know we talk a lot about some of the bigger earnings, NVIDIA and all that stuff has been on deck, but we also have a smaller AI stock reporting some pretty good earnings that report read pretty well. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. I am fired up, though. Let's go ahead and talk about the SPY here real quick. We got a big-time blue sky breakout here on SPY, and I know the thought that everyone has here is, where do we stop, right? Where does this reverse? Where is the top? Now, I don't have an answer for you. I'd be curious to know from the group what you folks think about this, where you think this might top out at. Are you looking for short trades yet, right? Are you looking for things like SQQQ, SOXS, SPXS, any of the inverse ETFs to try and trade some downside? Have we started looking at that yet? So what do you think here on this breakout on SPY?
Oh, well, first, we need to open. I want to see what happens throughout the regular session. We are higher than the highs that we made yesterday, but I want to see how the price action behaves after we open.
Okay, and
we're seeing, it goes along with the same thing I was saying yesterday about how this move up seems to kind of have been slowing down, and market's looking a little heavy. So I'm looking to see if this maybe comes in a bit.
Okay. I am too. You know what, though? Every time that I've tried to trade this thing to the short side, I've ended up getting punished. I have no positions on, but I will end up watching here today. I do want to care, or I want to watch for that today. We'll see how the market actually reacts. I'll let you know if I get some entry on that. One of the other stocks that I really wanted to talk about here, I know we talked about it on pre-market prep, but for those that might not have joined here, one of the other stocks that I'm really looking into is going to be PanW, and this is Palo Alto. I've got a chart issue going here. Let me see if I can get this fixed on another screen. You know what I can do? I got an idea. We will solve this problem with the quickness. Okay, let's take a look here at PanW. Apologize for the small chart. We're going to be focusing on this daily chart right up here. Okay, now I wish there was a way I could make this bigger, but I'm afraid I can't. I'll try to talk you through it. The blue line that might be difficult to see there, this blue line represents the 200-day moving average. And when we sold off on those earnings, we went right down to that, took a couple of legs to get down there, but we ended up going right down there. Once we did that, we've actually have two closes above that 200-day moving average. So if we get another one here today, if we're able to actually close this daily candle above that 200-day, this actually looks pretty good for a bounce. I do notice that PanW is trading up in the pre-market a little bit here today. Intraday highs yesterday were about 276.73 or thereabouts. We're currently at 273. So we might even have a little bit of a run going here with PanW if this can get going. So I'm definitely watching this one today. I'm most interested in how the daily candle closes, but might be an opportunity to day trade this here prior to that close. So we'll go ahead and see.
It would be interesting to see how high this can go past 282. That seems to be a now resistance level put in by the lows from December and January before we dropped.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if we can get above some of that resistance. Like I said, I'm really curious on the actual candle close here from today. Okay, let's go ahead and try. Let's see if I got pro-wrangled here real quick. Yeah, we do. All right. Now, 13, if there are some other stocks that you have that you want to cover here today, by all means, let's do that. I'd be happy to bring them up here, but I also want to roll through some of the movers here off the mover list. So we'll just go with with that. If Pro starts to freak out again, I'll go ahead and move back to trade the pool here. First one here is going to be a stock I don't think I've ever heard of. And if any of you folks have heard of this one, let me know. We've got SUGP, Sierra Uniform Golf Papa. This is SU Group Holdings. I have no idea what this does. I haven't even done any of the due diligence on it, but I can see here that we actually have a pretty decent range carved out in the pre-market. Stock's up 61% right now at about $5.34. We actually printed a high at just shy of 9 earlier in the pre-market. We've really kind of bled back, but it actually looks like we might be holding this level here in the pre-market. So this could actually be pretty good when the market actually opens.
If you want to look at a daily chart on that, you'll be forgiven as to why you may have never heard of it. It hasn't really been traded that long. So it's a really new company, and we're already making new highs.
You're absolutely right. In fact, we've broken the top off that the first day it's traded. I don't know if this was an IPO or some other means to bring it to market here, but we're actually above that, popped above that. Really good volume so far here. This range, we'll see where we end up closing up within this range, or maybe if we even close the gap on the way back down. But this one definitely want to take a look at. I think I want to see how it trades first, just because I'm so unfamiliar with it. The last thing I want to do is get myself in trouble early on a Friday. We'll save that for the late night.
It looks like this one is moving on a report of a passive stake, a 63.6% passive stake by some big holder of the outstanding shares. And there's for float, there's only 3.5 million publicly traded. So that stakeholder is holding on to a lot of the outstanding shares, I think almost all of them. And I think that's the reason why this is moving up on, because I don't see any other news on it.
Yeah, I think you're probably right on that. Next here, we have AXTI. This is another one. I feel like we've traded this one before. This is AXT Incorporated. We do have a catalyst here today. AXT shares trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 financial results. Good news here is that we actually popped yesterday in the after hours, popped again here in the pre-market. Every time that we've tried to sell off, the dips have been bought. Actually looks like we're holding a leg higher here and holding above 3. So that's encouraging to see. Honestly, if we get a pull back to 3, it's only 9 cents away. Might have a decent buy opportunity there. Pre-market high here going to be 356. We'll see if that ends up getting challenged. Got about 50 cents worth of a range in there. We'll see how AXTI behaves here today. You got anything on this one?
Yeah, this is going to be similar to some of these other ones that have been moving this morning, where we've just had earnings. They got some good coverage, or they had a beat or something. But these are not. We're not going to see very many low floats. This is not a low float. Well, it's lower, but it's like 40.8 million shares. That's not under the 10 that I usually look for. That really pushes these around. So the movement in this one's going to be a little bit different. It'll probably still whip around quite easily, but for 40 million, it's not going to. I don't think it's going to do the same things that some of those under a million or under 10 million even do.
Yeah, you're right about that. And the other thing here is that they'll probably be just a little bit easier to trade with that much stock being out there. We should also see a little bit of a tighter spread on AXTI. But again, I want to wait for that opening print and see how that goes here. Okay, good stuff there on AXTI. Next here is going to be Lunar. This one I know is going to be looked at by quite a bit of people here today. They successfully landed their craft on the moon last night. Interestingly enough, I actually learned this morning from Dennis at first. You'll notice here that in the after hours, we actually dipped. We went down and printed 7s here in the after hours before absolutely rocketing and doubling the price in just a very, very short amount of time, printed above 14s. The first move here, I guess they said they lost communication with it, or they didn't have sensor data or something like that. And then they regained it, and they announced that they made a successful landing on the moon. So Lunar here trading higher. Now, the one thing that I will say about at least the action here today, we definitely need to see a change in how the stock is trading. Because right now we had a huge pop off the opening of the pre-market session. This thing's done nothing but bleed. We did catch a bid here. What is this? Around 6 o'clock in the morning. We traded up to that VWAP. I know we pierced it, but for all intents and purposes, we were rejected. We're actually moving lower now. I really want to see this reclaim that VWAP and then use it as support. Now, what I mean by that is I don't necessarily just want to see the price go through the VWAP. That would reclaim it. But in addition to that, I also want it to hold that because, again, we've actually seen this pierce that VWAP and come right back in. We've talked a lot about how buying upside breaks on a lot of these day trades hasn't worked unless the stock goes absolutely ham after that. So for Lunar here, one of the first things that I'm going to be looking at is how does this get above its VWAP? Does it do it on good volume? Does it hold it? Does it back test the VWAP? All of those things will help us determine if this is going to be a better long side trade here today. But big catalyst going on with Lunar here.
If you, I don't know what time frame you're looking at with this one, but if you look to the left some more, you can see that the 1075 level that we're currently around right now, or just above, was a level previously back on the 20th, which was Tuesday. So that there are some levels here that have already been set up and put in place from previous trading. I think those will be in play for today. So you have something to draw on in terms of price action.
Really, really, really good point here. I absolutely love this. Joe, I'm going to amend what I just said. In a perfect world for a trade here, we come down, we test that 1075 level, we hold it, we maybe even consolidate a little bit and coil, and then we retake that VWAP. That would give us a really excellent trade plan for trading ticker LUNR to the upside here. So really good stuff there on Lunar. We'll be watching this one. I'm sure this won't be the last time that we talk about this one here today. Next is going to be Carvana, and Carvana is back again. How many times are we going to talk about this? How many times do I have to picture in my head a car vending machine? How utterly ridiculous that is. Carvana here popping on earnings. Carvana shares trading higher if the company reported Q4 financial results. This thing traded up in the pre-market here to 70. We dipped back down to 65. Now we've reclaimed the VWAP here at 68. We're moving up towards 70. This stock is absolutely going to be volatile. We've covered this one a whole bunch. We've traded this one a whole bunch. We've talked ad nauseum about the short interest in this stock, which still exists, Joe. As of February 9th, we're actually due for a new data print here in the next day or so. But as of February 9th, 43.26% of its float shorted, 6.26 days to cover. This thing definitely has some squeeze potential. And I'll tell you what, if there was anyone short going into that earnings report and they see the action here today, look for Carvana to make another move here, encouraging to see it not break down in the pre-market.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add to that. They just have a 77 million share float, so it's not going to whip around. But I think the fact that it's so heavily shorted is going to probably make it move to the upside more easily than not.
Okay, and we've seen this one make gigantic intraday moves. I caution you to not get married to this stock, but if you want to trade this thing during the day, there could be a huge move in here. Okay, where's Jay Rice out there? Where's Jay Rice? Because I'm looking at the movers tool, and instead of having an entire slew of these really, really small stocks that are kind of junky, we actually have some bigger names on here making some bigger moves. Jay, today is your day. Where the hell are you at? Next, we've got Block here. I, of course, made the stupid mistake of calling this Square earlier in pre-market prep. Square, Block, Square, whatever you want to call it. Ticker SQ. They reported earnings here. Block shares trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 sales results and issued guidance. Square traded up to about 78 in the after-hour session yesterday, taking another leg higher here, testing and actually moving through 80 on Square. If we take a look at the daily chart here, let's see if it cooperates with me. Look at that. We are at a resistance level. I think it's safe to say. How about you?
That almost looks like it could be a cup and handle. So this could be a level that it breaks out of for sure. Just have to see if it gets the momentum, but that looks pretty good. That's a good setup.
Yeah, and if it does break out here, I got 90 as the next area of resistance. That would mark these other little tops here when the stock is really kind of turned around. So good stuff there on Square. I think this one might be volatile as well. We go ahead and move back to that 1 minute chart. Man, just really holding its strength here through the pre-market. Good to see. Okay, next is going to be MNPR. This was a big one here from yesterday. A nice mover early on. We actually had multiple legs up, multiple pullbacks. Should have been able to buy this on a pullback if you were looking at this this based off the pre-market setup. Guess what? We have more of that here today. The only difference here is that when the pre-market opened, we popped and immediately dropped to $1. The buyers stepped in, and here we are hovering about 122. We're off the highs at about 150. Looks to me like MNPR, especially if the volume flows in around the opening print, might be on deck here today. Smoke Tuna's in at 108 already. So Smoke Tuna not even waiting for the market to open, saying F that, pre-market is my jam. I'm going to get long here, some MNPR 108. Nice buy, at least so far.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to MNPR.
Okay. Well, in the sake of brevity, we're going to keep moving on here. Next is going to be UAVS. This is AG Eagle Aerial Systems. What a move here. What on earth is going on with UAVS? Looks like this thing popped up to about 250. Looks like 1 cent shy, 249 high. Retraced almost the entire move, and we're really kind of holding here at 130. What'd you see on UAVS, if anything?
Well, I just remember this stock from a while ago, maybe a few years ago, when they were talking with Amazon about doing drone deliveries. And I remember this was the one that really moved as a result of that news that they were in talks to do a business together. So I don't have a whole lot to add to this one, except that this is, much lower price than where it used to be. If the short interest is correct, actually, I don't think it is, because they probably just reverse split. Is that what happened here? Yes, they just reverse split.
Let me see. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they did a 1-for-20 reverse split on the 9th.
Good call.
So that's probably one of the reasons why you're having it move. It's just one of those candidates that has all those boxes checked.
Yeah, and when you take a look at the daily chart here, you're right about the price being higher. The last time we took a look at this thing is in a very, very clear downtrend. Good news here is
also news too.
Let's say it again.
They also have news too.
They also have news. Okay, yeah. So although it is clearly in a downtrend, it's actually done a pretty good job defending that $1 level. Now, I'm not going to take this for a swing. 30-cent stop to the downside is just going to be a little bit too wide for me. If we end up trading this, it'll probably be a tighter stop. We'll be looking for a scalp or a day trade here. Let me flip over to that news tab and see what we can get here. AG Eagle announces sale of Altium PT multispectral cameras to Department of Defense customer through ADS. Now I understand why you told me there was news and didn't read it yourself. That was a tongue twister. That was a tongue twister for sure. But there we go. There's your PR here from this morning. We'll see if this ends up finishing only up about 8% here in the pre-market.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that I haven't seen any 100% runners except for maybe SUGP, SUGP. That briefly went up to 100% and then it came back in. I don't think we have any anything else right now. So that's a bit new for us lately. We've always had these big runners in the pre-market, and that give us a good idea of what to look for, but none today. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, I'm actually not sure what that tells me here at 13. We'll see how this ends up behaving here today. Decent volume so far. Okay, let's keep moving on here. There were a couple here. BDRX, this is Biodexa Pharmaceuticals. I feel like we've traded this one here before. By the way, 5 minutes till we open up here. Just kind of want to roll through some tickers. I noticed a number of you guys were talking about the ones that we took a look at. Yeah, so we're in pretty good shape here. BDRX, this actually looks like it has bottomed here on the daily chart. We did have a spike here earlier today, took us to 220. We've retraced almost all of that move. The only good news I see from this intraday pre-market chart here is that we did not continue breaking down on BDRX. Let me flip over to the news tab. Looks like we have a PR here. Biodexa announces positive top-line phase 1 clinical trial results for diffuse midline glioma and provides an R&D update. Okay, you know what? I didn't actually stumble through that. What's that?
Midline.
Okay.
Midline
Just as I started to tap myself on the back, 13's like, you messed this up. Anyway, BDRX here up 6% on that PR. Again, chart sure looks like it's bottomed out on the daily. If you take a look at the pre-market chart here, we've really retraced that move. I want to confirm some strength in some of these before just taking them. So we'll see. You got anything else? We don't need to keep rolling off the list. If you got something you want me to bring up here.
Well, so there's only a few others that they all like have earnings. They have a bit higher float, so they're not going to be these big movers that whip around. But I did notice that yesterday we also got RKT's earnings. And the only reason I'm bringing this one up is because this is another potential short squeeze candidate. I mentioned this one and United Wholesale a couple of months ago, and they ended up really squeezing because there was also news of rates potentially being cut. So this one's going to actually be more affected by rates getting cut than I think this earnings report that they have here, where they actually, had a good earnings report and provided guidance. The thing about this one is that it has a 16.5% short interest with 8.8 days to cover. So that kind of puts it in the territory of potential squeeze. Not saying it will, but this is just something to put on your radar for the time being.
Yeah, and the one thing to keep in mind here on RK2, 126 million shares in the float, so it absolutely trades thick, not really one of these that's going to move around. Your point about the short squeeze, maybe if that is, over several days, we could see that type of move, maybe even over several weeks. Dennis brought up an interesting point on pre-market prep here today. This chart looks very similar to the TLT. It's going to be totally rate dependent, as you already said here. One thing you can actually watch in sympathy with this is that TLT. Okay, we got 2 minutes till we open here. I'm going to go ahead and get ready. I really quickly want to mention that, of course, this stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. They are the best prop firm out there. Bunch of really nice guys. Huge pool of stocks to trade from. Get above that 25K threshold if that's what you need, or up to 260K buying power. So definitely give Trade the Pool a shot. That is the broker that we're going to be trading from here today. And what else did we want to cover here? What else was I feel like I'm forgetting something, 13. We only have a minute. That's kind of a bummer. Let me flip over.
As soon as the market opens, you'll remember it.
You know what? You're absolutely right. I guess what we can do here until the market opens, we could talk a little bit about INOD. I know this is one of the, Oh, nope. I just pressed the help button. I thought I closed the stream. Holy smokes. Had a little mini heart attack there. INOD, this is, of course, one of the smaller AI names. They reported earnings yesterday. Actually read pretty good. We talked a little bit about this on Happy Hour. I'm completely out of this. I remember I sold here at 9 on the way back down. A little bit disappointing to see it above 940, to see it back above 9 at 946 here. But let's see how INOD trades. I still think that this stock can get to 12 or 15 bucks. Maybe not today, but I think overall, the more and more I look at this, the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think that short report was orchestrated, manipulated, the whole 9 yards. So it is what it is. Thankfully, I had good entry, and we are open.
All right. Look at MMPR out of the open.
And then let me bring that up here.
That one's getting pushed around a bit.
Yeah, that's actually above the VWAP here.
MRVI moving. I have that one as well. MRVI.
SUGP here, still holding that 5 level on SUGP. At least so far. That could change quickly, though.
It looks like Lunar is trying to get above VWAP as well. So that one went right up to where you were looking for it to go.
Let me bring up Lunar here. Sorry, just clearing some stuff away. Looks like, so this is, I've got quotes and I've got the ladder here, but I'm not getting that chart resolved. Let's see. Let me bring up Lunar on another chart here. By the way, Pan W here, that first move out of the gate was up. It's holding here at about 275. I'm going to be looking at Pan W quite a bit here today. I think I might want to swing that after this dip here. Okay, here we go on Lunar. We did take out that VWAP. We're kind of holding here. Dropping right beneath it. That didn't take long. Amber Remington, happy Friday to you. Thank you very much for the kind words. Hopefully we help you, and hopefully you have a wonderful weekend ahead planned here.
Looks like MNPR is trying to go a little bit higher here, but nope. Got whacked.
So that looked like there was a nice little bit of a push. What did they do? I came to it a little late. Looks like they brought in some sell orders and just kind of hit it there. Nice, decent size buy there, almost 9,000 shares.
SPY is running up off the open.
Yes, it is. What do you think? So. Just generally speaking, what do you think, 13? You think we got a blow off top on our hands or what?
Oh, I think we've had a blow off top on our hands for a while. I think it's just, we just blew off the top and then it kind of consolidated and it blew off the top again. So yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, is Root coming back? Yeah, sure is.
Let's see.
Looks like it might get halted too. No, maybe not. It's just moving slow. I thought it was actually just stopped because it was about to get halted, but no, it's just spready.
AXTI, look at this push. Jane saying out AXTI, 361 bit of gain. Guess what? We're going to get the cash register ringing started early here. Awesome job, Jane. You know what I like the most about this, Jane? You added it lower, and as soon as the stocks showed strength and pushed up, you sold into the strength, making sure you get your fill there. I absolutely love that instead of waiting for it to come back in and stopping you down. Great job there. Get green on the screen early, Jane. That's what we like to see. Looks like WIS, DS, you guys are on AXTI as well. Can you riddle? Looks like a lot of you guys halting this one, or halting this one. I was reading another line there. Looks like a lot of you guys trading this one. OCA is the one that's halted.
Yeah, MRVI had a nice pop too.
Yeah, that did. And that actually looks like it back tested the VWAP there. IFBD halted. Lynn and Randy, good to see you here this morning. IFBD, big candle off the open here, right into a halt. Let me actually check pros, see what else. Boom. Oh, man. Don't even give me a ticker like this on a day where I'm excited or I'm going to be the most annoying SOB that you know. Boom. This is also halted here. Look what happened here. Looks like we were a little bit lower in the pre-market, about 2.5 points. And then bang, right back to balance. This stock is halted. Looks like kind of low volume here on Boom. Take a look at Lunar here. Let me roll back to that. Go ahead, 13. I'm sorry.
PanW had a big candle just before the open, and now it's giving it all back.
Yeah, and so one of the reasons why I wasn't too quick to just jump on this. Man, I like this company. We've talked a lot about this being best in breed for cybersecurity. We got a really, really big discount on the stock as this moved down to the 200. But I'll tell you what, the reason that I wasn't diving into this head first is because I want to let the dust settle. Right. And I really like the measured approach of getting 3 closes above a specific support level to really kind of tell you that. I am not interested in playing some of these back and forth gyrations that we're likely to see here in PanW today. Instead, I'd actually like to have a really, really clean entry on this and hold it for maybe a couple of days. That would be ideal here. PanW moving down to that 270 level. Looks like it's trying to bounce here. We'll keep an eye on that. By the way, Lunar hugging 11 right now. Looks like it did break it to the downside. And here we go again on Lunar. Let me bring that up here real quick. 13, if you need me to go back to PanW, I'd be happy to do so. Here's what that was the warrants. We're doing that for Sydney here. There you go, Sydney. There's your Lunar warrants here. But let me get the actual ticker up here. What I was telling you about in the pre-market on Lunar is still holding true. Look at what it's doing with the VWAP. It is absolutely using this as resistance. And until we can get that to change, I really think that the stock is going to have some weakness. So this is going to be something to keep your eye on here. The VWAP and then how the price actually reacts to that VWAP. What kind of volumes are we getting when we trade up to that? Just saying.
AXTI, just put some levels out here, but I noticed that there's a gap to fill. I think it's between, let's see where it was. I'm sorry. Let me zoom in real quick here. There's a gap about 520 to about 590 that was put in on the 15th last year. I'm sorry, of February last year. So there's something to watch for if that continues to move up.
Let me see if I can bring that up on one of my bigger charts here where it would be easier to see. AXTI. Let's take a look at that daily here. All right, let me flip over to this. Let's use this as a visual aid. Boy, I got to figure out what. Here we go. Here we go. Here is your AXTI. Give me those numbers again. You're saying the gap is right in here, right?
Yeah, between like 520 and 590.
Yep, I see that right in here. That was again. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That was a year ago, Friday, February 17th, 2023. That is your gap here. You know, the other thing, 13, is that this is about to test the 500-day moving average at 452.
All right. Well, then that's probably going to be a pullback level.
Yeah, we'll see. Some of these that really get ripping on a day, they go through some of those levels and then they regress back to them. Curious to see if that's what we get here. By the way, Lunar's still moving to the downside here, 1085, and moving lower now. AXT. Okay, let me go back to the actual execution system. Bam. I'm doing my own sound effects now. I know I got a soundboard here, but F that. I'm going to do some of my own ones. And let me tell you something. Bam from Emerald. I used to watch that show in college. Oh, yeah. That gives me some nostalgia vibes right there. Lynn mentioning that Hollow was squawked. I don't have squawk on today. I've got a lot of inputs going on, so you'll have to let me know what they squawked. Looks like Hollow did kind of pop off that $10 level. We've come back here to the VWAP, but not breaking down here on Hollow. Looks like we got a pretty decent sized spread here, about 20 plus cents. So let's see what Hollow can end up doing here. Smoked Tuna mentioning BQ. That's 1B short for me. I like BBQ, but BQ, here we are. This is a 30-cent penny stock. Not a whole lot going on here on this one. Jonathan Cooper, good to see you this morning. ENVB getting mentioned here by Jonathan. Let's take a look at that. Jonathan, you might have found one. Let's apply the smoked tuna chart to this. Sure looks like ENVB really kind of consolidated and coiled here right around this dollar level. We do have the MACD histogram crossing into the green. These lines pitched up. You know what, Jonathan? I like this one. Let's see if we can get something rolling here. Jonathan, the chat scanner is at it again. Let's see if we can get above 110 here. I would have liked an entry a little bit closer to 1. But you know what? I'm actually just going to take some right here. We can actually add to that if it comes down towards 1. If we break 1 to the downside, what's this pre-market low that I have in here? 90 cents. I don't know if I want to wait all the way till 90 cents. Got a little bit of size here at 110. Let's see if we take that, get an ENVB scalp on the gate. My entry, not the best here, Jonathan. I'm assuming that you got a better one, but we'll see if this ends up moving. Charlie squawked the movement only on Hollow. Okay, well, that might be something to keep in mind here, right? Because we'll see Hollow gyrate back and forth. Okay, ENVB coming in a little bit here.
Yeah, it looks like AXTI's it's trying to push. It's got up to 436 now.
Let me actually set a stop so I can move around here real quick. We don't want to do it at let's do it 95 cents. Let's do it 95 cents there. Okay, so we'll take a look. What was that? AXTI, you said?
Mm-hmm.
So let's bring that up here. Ooh. So we didn't really get a pullback here. I guess we did get a pullback towards the VWAP, but this thing moving higher here. Let's see if we get to those levels that you called here, 13. This is a good mover so far.
Yeah, this thing is just taking out all kinds of
it sure is
shorts, and we're probably going to get that gap fill here pretty soon. If we can keep going up like this, we're getting close.
Well, 515 was the bottom of here. I've got it on my other chart here.
Yeah, I got it. It's like around between 515 and 520.
Yep, and we got it. I think 517. Let me see what the high print of this candle is. 518 is your exact number, but you're right there. It looks like maybe we're going to be testing that here pretty soon.
Oh yeah.
Lunar continuing to move down here. Alex mentioning, so glad I sold SMCI. SMCI, you know what? Here, let's actually take a look at that here real quick because that action has been wild on SMCI. I had the wrong ticker in there. There we go. There we go. You're going to load the right ticker or what? Here we go. So SMCI, first move here out of the gate was a push up, but this getting weak in a hurry here. Looks like we are breaking down here. We're not quite at those pre-market lows. I've got that at what, 904 and change here on SMCI. Let's see if we break those. We could actually come all the way back in towards this 820 level. This thing really starts to pick up the selling.
Yeah, and AXTI is, it's holding up. But it's also coming in a bit. I think this needs to maybe cool off after this morning pop that it just had. Maybe come back down to some of those moving averages or VWAP, and then it could probably gear up to go up again.
Yeah, especially if we consolidate there. I've got that VWAP at you're good. I've got that VWAP there at 395. By the way, VRM being mentioned by Smoke Tuna. This stock spready as can be. Vertical out of the open here, 1045 on VRM. No position here for me on this one.
Lunar might be holding up here at the 200 EMA and the 1075 level that I had mentioned earlier. I don't want it to continue to hanging down here because then I'll think that it's probably going to fall through it.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can reclaim this this area here, then should be better.
Yeah, this actually looks like kind of an intraday double bottom here from one of those pre-market levels. It definitely is trying to bounce, but remember here, the story for me on Lunar is what does it do at this VWAP? If it cannot take this VWAP out and build above it, I think we probably go lower here on Lunar. Sell the news event. How many other space stocks have we seen where the actual event, the launch, the landing, whatever it was, they're all sell the news.
Mm-hmm.
They're all sell the news. That's what we're seeing here in Lunar so far.
Yeah, that was. I mean, maybe whether they landed or not, it probably was going to be sell the news.
Yeah, I think so. MNPR being mentioned by Smoke Tuna. Let's take a look. The chat scanner is rolling here today. MNPR looking like it's going to break that pre-market high right now. See if we actually yank here. If we break, there we go. We are through on MNPR. I see a little bit of size above here, 158, 160, just a little bit though. That should fall. Jim out of it. Jim, love it. Cash register ring for you. You're selling into strength, baby. Book those gains. That's what we want to hear.
MRVI seems to be one of the few it's holding up pretty well. The AXTI did come back down to VWAP, or my VWAP anyway.
I was stopped out of ENVB by the way, on that breakdown. So 0 for 1 here for me. Here is MRVI holding above that. Oh, good call here. BZ Films. Ooh, I like that handle. DWAC, big push here. Well, I haven't really been I'm just going to be honest with all of you here. I am literally using some of my own energy to not pay attention to politics because I'm trying to maintain my own sanity. Do you have any idea what might be moving DWAC here?
Oh yeah, it's front running the South Carolina general Republican election.
There you go.
That's tomorrow. So it's just they're just buying it up ahead of that.
There you go. If that's the case, then I would actually wait for this to come back in. If you're going to try playing that, don't chase the green candles here on DWAC.
Yeah, this is a big one because this is where Nikki Haley, the only other contender for the Republican primary, this is where she was governor. So, for like, what was it, 7 years, something like that. I don't remember the exact time, maybe 7 or 8 years, but this is, if she's defeated here, I think that's going to be the most meaningful win for Trump. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why this is moving so handily right now.
Yeah, Mark here saying he's going to smoke Haley. That would actually explain, but I mean, whether that happens or not, that would actually explain the movement that we're seeing in the asset here this morning. So, good stuff there. Good stuff there. Yeah, ENVB didn't hold. Look, you win some, you lose some. That's why we keep our stops small so we really don't get taken out there. And thank God I put a stop in, right? Because I started to switch away from that and it'd be a huge mess if I had done it a different way. So, okay, I'm going to take a look. Let me flip back over to my main workspace here. Let's take a look and see what else might be moving here.
ATX might be coming up. It's VWAP now.
ATXI?
ATXI, sorry.
ATX. AXTI?
AXTI. I have computers on the brain to have said ATX. I'm thinking of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you're thinking about what that's the Radeon line, right? The ATX or whatever. That's RTX is NVIDIA.
That's the motherboard type.
Right. The ATX, the size of the motherboard, right? ATX mid tower, full tower. I got you.
So sorry about that. AXTI.
Yeah, Jay Rice also mentioning on DWAC, by the way, good morning, Jay, on DWAC mentioning that there is high short interest on that, very much like Carvana. The short interest, by the way, on DWAC, 10.96% of the float shorted. I have 1 days to cover, but that looks like because the average volume really kind of jumped up in there. Still, definitely a highly shorted name here. That absolutely could be driving it here today. And speaking of Carvana, how are we doing? Oh, Carvana holding that 74 level. Let me bring that up. CVNA here. AXTI almost did it there too. AXTI, it looks like it might be coming back into the VWAP. Here's Carvana. You saw that we popped on earnings yesterday, drifted higher here in the pre-market. We're now taking the next leg here out of the gate. Who's got thoughts on Carvana? Who's trading Carvana out there?
Who's buying cars?
That's a really good question. But see, you're going the way of fundamentals, and this stock might just be moving. It might just be a Momo name.
Well, it's getting squoze. I think that's that's for sure what's happening with that. In addition to their earnings, but when you look at that inflation report and you see how vehicles are it seems like vehicles aren't really getting bought as much because they're so expensive. And now now they're talking Carvana. It's like, well, who's buying cars right now? Who's financing them? It's just I'm just thinking.
You're thinking out loud. I'm with you there. I mean, I could use a new one. I like the one that I have. It's not, I don't need to replace it. But because of these interest rates, like you're saying, why? I've got a decent rate left in the car that I have. I'm with you. It doesn't really seem to be a reason to buy a car, even if you want to.
Yeah. Looks like SUGPs. I think you may have mentioned that it was halted.
We did, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know how long on that halt.
Yeah, this just kind of popped off that bottom. Now, this bottom here lines up decently with the first pullback level off that impulse candle. Now, that was this morning, right? 223. Yes, that was this morning. So the impulse candle here happened early. We pulled back to this level. This is where we're bouncing from. We bounced into that upside halt.
Yeah, MRVI, that one seems to be doing really, really well. And this one could probably even go into the nines if this keeps up.
Sorry, what was the ticker again?
MRVI.
MRVI.
It's got
That's a nice move here.
It's got some sell orders to get through, but it's doing pretty well. So hollow appears to be open again. Yeah,
hollow moving lower here on that.
DWAC almost got to $50 before it came in. After 50, I have 52.75 if we get through that.
Really quickly, just to clean up the discussion there on Carvana, Brug Light, good morning, Brug, saying the Carvana vending machine is empty by me. I don't even know where the closest one is by me. I know I've seen one that's actually in the city off the expressway. I haven't been down that way in a long time, though, so I can't tell you if it's empty. But this is interesting to note there. Carvana, and that's commercial real estate, too. I wonder how many of those will be closing down. What else would you use that building for, by the way? Rick saying Carvana may be moving because no one is buying new cars. Maybe they're just buying used cars. Carvana, I believe, does both, don't they? They do.
I thought they did.
Yeah, they do. But to Rick's point here, maybe it's the used car angle kind of holding things up.
That's a good point. Okay.
Good morning, Rick. Good to see you here. Good morning to anyone else that I haven't said good morning to. I apologize. The coffee really got me jacked this morning. Extra caffeine, man.
Jonathan bringing up a good point about UCAR. Could be a relationship trade here. I think this is
UCAR. This is 8 cents, guys. I mean, really? This is 8 cents. This is an 8-cent stock. It's moved from 7 to 8 cents.
Yeah, this is like a Chinese name too. I mean, it could be. He could be right that it's moving in sympathy, but it's just one of these garbage names. I wouldn't get married to it, but sure, trade it.
So Voodoo bringing up an interesting thing here. I was just saying about the car vending machines. What else are they going to use that for? Voodoo saying use them as giant beverage dispensers. I actually thought about this. A couple of things. Number one, if you put cans or anything that's carbonated in that, the ones at the top, they got a really big fall to the bottom. That is going to be a carbonation explosion waiting to happen. I don't think that's going to work. And if you fill them with actual liquid and try to dispense it, that's just going to get grimy after a couple of hours.
Yeah, we have to change their name to Carbama.
Then we could car bombs. That was actually a good college drink, right? I mean, that was a fun one. Car bombs.
Yeah, it was fun that night.
Oh, had plenty of those Jaeger bombs, car bombs. Irish car bomb here, by the way. Yeah. That is a shot of Jaeger and Guinness, right? 2-part shot of whiskey and Irish cream dropped into a half full glass of Guinness.
So Irish cream's okay now?
I mean, if you're making a car bomb, yeah. Car bomb drink, guys. Car bomb drink. Yeah. Don't get excited. Okay, let's take a look here. Let me roll through some more. Enough talking about alcohol at 8 o'clock in the morning. We don't need to be doing all that here today. MNPR here, back to the VWAP. This actually might provide entry. How's Lunar doing? Looks like DWAC, by the way, pulled here.
Looks like Jay's looking at Melly and BKNG. Oh, we talked about bookings yesterday, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We talked about that on pre-market prep here today as well. Lunar, by the way, moving back down towards the lows here on Lunar. This thing, all weakness, just all weakness.
AXTI is trying to deal with a wall at 439. I think it might be getting rejected here, but if it can come back and break through that, it could be a big move.
No, this to me is either going to be a 450 snap or a VWAP support hold on AXTI. We'll see. Dugan, good morning. By the way, congratulations, Dugan, on that NVIDIA trade. That was amazing. I love that you make a serious attempt at the logic behind not using huge pop cans in Carvana machines. I can't help it. I am a very literal dude. And so I actually thought about this when I was thinking about this on my own. I was like, vending machine, they could just make it a regular vending machine. And then I started to think about all of the problems with that. And then I realized how ridiculous it all was. And I just stopped and made a joke about it. But glad at least you got a chuckle out of that, my man. David Lynn talking about Pan W. Let's take a look at that. Pan W moving towards the highs of the day. There we go. This is good. This is good. Remember, what I wanted to see here on Pan W was a daily candle close above that 200-day. If this thing closes anywhere near the highs, that's what we're going to get here. Not necessarily in a rush for this one. Really want to see how this plays out, but you're absolutely right. Pan W, pull back to the VWAP. Now we're moving higher. We're over yesterday's intraday highs. Strength looks like it might be coming in to Pan W.
Yeah.
Moon landing is down. Now it's Luna. Come down to Earth. There you go, Smoke Tuna. I like that. Smoke Tuna is saying that Irish cream is for girls. Well, you know what? I'm gonna push back on that just a little bit, because as someone that is half Irish and born on St. Patrick's Day, I think Irish cream is acceptable in small amounts on certain days. And I think that the morning of my birthday, I might even have to put a little Irish cream into my coffee. Maybe we'll make it Irish whiskey. We'll see how frisky I'm feeling that morning. SUGP now halted to the downside. Looks like that shifted pretty quickly there. SUGP, yep, we popped up to the VWAP, straight up rejected like Mutombo, and here we are back down to 5, halted at 501 to the downside here.
Yeah, some of these things are getting hit pretty hard. Some are still working. AXTI, I'm still watching for this one. It has been taking out some of those levels I mentioned earlier, but then it gets to another level and it gets smacked back down. I think that if it can just get through some of these levels, it's going to go towards that gap fill. But
Terra Therapeutics, penny stock popping 10 cents here. MNPR being mentioned by the chat scanner here. Ooh, good mention here. That's coming off the VWAP here on MNPR. All day gameplay got a little bit of gains. You're going to ring that register. Don't overstay your welcome on some of these junkier names. Yeah, these aren't the quality names that you can swing for a few weeks like Jay's doing out here. These, you got to be fast on some of these. What happened on Tesla? Let's take a look here on Tesla.
EVs are out of favor.
Yeah.
I'm just being smart.
I see what he's asking about, because on Thinkorswim, I actually have one of those humongous phantom candles that goes down to, it looks like 191 and change. I don't see it on this chart. I think that might just be an errant print there on Tesla.
Yeah, that will happen. I see those pretty frequently.
Kevin, I wouldn't worry about that too much. Hopefully it didn't sell down there. VTYX, that was from yesterday. Good morning, Brian. VTYX, I put VT, I got to put VTYX. VTYX, okay, this was the one with the new player into the GLP market from yesterday, if I recall correctly here. VTYX trading higher here, 621 on that high side.
Am I an M again?
Mini Me. Mini Me is back, dude. Let's go.
For what reason are some of these coming back? It's just that there's just not enough to play, and you're like, oh, let's go dig up some of those old names.
Just to not get in trouble, I don't want to repeat that, but oh my God, that's a good laugh here in the morning. That is a good laugh here in the morning. Jeez, that's kind of funny. Okay, MNPR, here's that 150 level we're taking a look at. Really want to see if this actually breaks here at 150. I have a little bit of a spot above here. What is that? 154. So we'll see if MNPR can actually bust that out.
All right. What are we doing? What are we doing, market?
You know, that SPY, we did push up right out of the open. I think you were the one that called that, weren't you, 13? We pushed up right out of the open, but it feels a little heavy up here, doesn't it? At least so far.
That's that part I said, but I wasn't looking for.
Okay, yeah, it might have been someone from the chat.
Yeah, I'm not going to claim credit for that. I didn't say that.
Mark, you're asking me about a stock I've never seen before, so let me pull it up here so I don't sound like a complete doofus. Hudbay Minerals. Oops, what happened to Pro here?
Jonathan Cooper mentioning Easy Florida.
All right. So first of all, Mark saying, would volume on HBM be too low to make it worth looking at? Well, a couple of things here. It depends on the type of trade. So let me flip back over to Pro here real quick, and I'll run this down for you. First of all, it depends on the type of trade. If you're basically just trying to day trade, I definitely want to see some volume in there. That's going to allow me to kind of track the stock and really feel out that momentum, hopefully. But low volume stocks, I mean, I'm in a couple of them. When we talked about INOD, that was fairly low volume ahead of its earnings, still in Ideal Power stock, like 17,000 shares a day. Low volume is not the end of the world. But it really depends on your trade. If you have a long-term thesis on a stock and it's low volume and you're able to get filled, you actually might be in a really good position there, because as that stock starts to get discovered or have more news, that low volume might turn to high volume and you might have a significant change in the price, hopefully in your favor. What I would say here, I have no idea what Hudbay Minerals does, number one. That's my own problem. This is a Canadian mining company with its operations, property developments, and exploration activities across the United States. Okay, so it looks like we have mining here. The company's discovery, protection, and marketing of base and precious metals. So this is going to be one of those mining metals plays here. I would want to do due diligence into its competitors. I see that it just recently reporting earnings here. EPS of 20 cents beats the 13 estimate. Sales of 602 million beat the 542 million estimate. It's not expensive here. Got a forward PE of 8, revenue of 480 million. Maybe it is a little expensive. Revenue of 480 million versus a market cap of 1.87 billion. Not really sure here, but this is after earnings. Here's a catalyst here, straight up. So we can absolutely take a look at this here. Interestingly, we went higher in the pre-market, dipped right back down to balance, and now here we are. We actually took those highs out. What does the daily chart look like on this one? Okay, so we're still in kind of like a sideways area. Would love to see this breakout above maybe 587. Maybe a breakout on 6 here. We could test 8. Not bad here. Would love to hear what your thoughts are on it, Mark. And let me go back to the trading platform here, 13. That way I can zip around to what we're looking at.
Sure. Just looking to see what's happening here. And
looks like we're getting a lunar call here. Maybe lunar finally has bottomed and is starting to curl. If we're going to use the smoke tuna indicator set, we can see that the MACD histogram is compressing. Now, it hasn't turned green yet. The signal lines here are definitely slowing down. They're not pitching up yet. We are about $1 away from that VWAP. So if this gets rolling here, maybe we do have a trade there to close that range out. Good call, smoke tuna. Or that was Can You Riddle. I'm sorry. Stop now. INOD, let's take a look at INOD. So it had that good report. God, am I so glad we didn't chase this in the after hours yesterday, 13. Look at INOD here. We were higher in the after hours, higher in the pre-market, and just selling to the lows here today. I will say this, though. 757 level on INOD, I'm rebuying, even if it's within that 30 days.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Lynn's mentioning IFBD is still going. Looks like that did take out the highs here. Nice little pullback to VWAP. Go ahead, though, 13.
Okay, so with PanW, we're up to that December 5th low, and we're coming up to the January 8th low, and that low is 281.84. Actually, we got really, really close to that. We came with a matter of cents to it. So that is a resistance level, and I don't know if it's going to pull back from there or not, or try to break through it, but that is, we're at a resistance level right now. So just, take that for how you will.
Well, let's see if we can actually pull back from this resistance level. This actually might give us an opportunity to add this intraday here. I know I want to wait for a candle close, but maybe we'll do a shorter term trade to try and build up some funds there.
Looks like the
MNPR getting mentioned. We'll take a look at that here real quick. That is holding higher there. Carvana CVNA was 41%. That holding up here at the 74 level. Carvana. Looking around here. You know what? It might be time to finally check the Twitter streets here today. See what Twitter is trading for us here today. Let's see. Not a whole lot. Oh, what a surprise. The first two stocks I see from my Twitter list here, SMCI and NVIDIA. I bet I could have placed a bet on that. All right, we'll see what else comes across the wire here. Let's actually take a look at those. We haven't looked at those for a little bit here. SMCI still on the way down. NVIDIA. It would be nice to see these stocks take a break. Even if they don't break down, just maybe take a break and then set up a trade there. MNPR, Smoke Tuna. Look at this. Here we go. You're going to get a register ring here for this. Smoke Tuna, MNPR called it early, gave us that trade early. 2 register rings for you. MNPR 108 to 152. That is that's how you trade the junk, Smoke Tuna. That's how you trade this little junk. You just repeat this process over and over again. God, I got like a hair. Something here. It's in front of my eye. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it's trying to go higher. MNPR. Oh, there we go.
There it is. Pop. All you had to do was talk about it, 13. Give it the blessing and bang, there we go.
Rise, my son.
Oh, the Star Wars. Gotta love the Star Wars quotes.
MRVI could also be, I mean, it's already starting to make a move off this VWAP, but does it break 817? The volume keeps up, it might.
Tesla moving to the lows. Here is your MRVI. Just snap that up. Voodoo say here, I love this. I'm going to be taking a look at pretty much anything PanW related here today. Voodoo saying money flow, PanW money flow into PanW is still weak on the daily. I'm looking at it as scalps play only until it crosses over 314-ish. Okay, so 314, one of those big levels for you. Appreciate that, Voodoo.
Looks like AXTI is getting smacked now. Big candle, red candle. Well, things are starting to go sideways a bit here.
Yeah, American Truther, sorry to hear that about Rivian. This has not been a great stock and just a really, really rough move. Stay focused. Good to see you this morning. Stay focused. Rivian about to go into single digits. Sad. That definitely looks like that's what's on deck here. 13, I know you were telling us you want to see what's going on here. Just take a look at FUV, Lucid, Solo. A lot of those EV companies really coming under pressure.
No, that's where if you want to see their future, that's where you want to see where it's headed.
Yeah. Well, that sure looks like it. Sorry to hear, Truther. Keep firing. We'll help you get back there.
Truther, one day those EVs will come back. They'll be much better, but they're just really not in favor right now. We need rates to start coming down before we can start having that conversation, I believe. Yeah,
I would agree. Smoke Tuna does not agree. Says it's time to buy Rivian. Hearing our bearishness, saying I'm going to do contrarian and trade that one. Jay mentioning TDOC also on the lows here.
They just had earnings, didn't they?
Yeah, and they gapped down here, and Jay's right. Looks like another leg lower here on TDOC. You know, we had an interesting conversation about this one. The thought here on TDOC, I know the whole COVID thing is pretty much in the past now, but the whole thing here about TDOC, we're going to be semaglutides being prescribed to patients, and you can do that via a virtual visit. So the thought was, well, if the GLP-1s and semaglutides, keep proliferating, maybe TDOC would have more of a demand. Not seeing that even a little bit yet after that earnings gap down and another leg down here.
Adobe as well, huh? Easy Mike mentioning Adobe. Did they have earnings?
ADBE. Yeah, funny story about Adobe. So I told you I'm looking at a new MacBook. I was watching some videos on some of the Mac apps because I'm not as familiar with them. A lot of them are new. A lot of them are really powerful. I had a guy that was doing a tier list video on apps yesterday that I was watching, and he put Adobe products in the top tier, in the S tier. And oh my God, 13, the comments were ballistic. There were Mac fanboys out there that could not believe that this person put an Adobe product above Final Cut Pro. I hate to even say it, but it made me laugh. Like it was funny. It was entertaining. Oh man. Those Mac users, they hate those Adobe products. I still use these. Photoshop's one of the best applications of all time. I know PDFs used to be a real big annoyance. But
Really?
I mean, do you have any idea? And I'm not trying to call anyone out here, but do you have any idea how many adults, when I was young, I could have made a career helping adults open PDF files. They saw a PDF, they didn't know what the hell was going on. Call the tech guy, get Ryan in here. What do I do with this PDF thing? So anyway, yeah, I've been using Adobe products my whole life. I really like this company. The stock's been great. A little bit of a pullback here. This sure feels like a sale on a really good company here. Actually, let me take a look at this on my other chart, because we might have another one of these 3 closes above the 200-day on Adobe. Let me pull that up.
Oh, yeah. The 200-day is holding Adobe up.
Oh, it sure is. Okay, so let me go to this here, because I was just kind of thinking out loud, 13. Here you go. This is exactly what I want to see on PanW, right? We pulled right back down to that 200. 1, 2, 3 closes above it. Now here's that 4th day here. Let's see on Adobe. This one fairly interesting here. Oh, and don't forget, we're going to have Anne-Marie back today. We talked about NVIDIA options trades ahead of the print. She gave us a double butterfly setup. We got a huge move in NVIDIA, obviously. Cannot wait to bring Anne-Marie back on and talk about some of those options trades. That's coming up here in about 20 minutes or so. Yeah, so Jay, this is bringing up a really good point about some of those EVs, and this has been on that longer term approach when we're kind of looking at some of these things. These EVs like Lucid, Rivian, they'll have to dilute to stay in business. This is a slow death, just like Mullen. Balance sheets are awful. You're given a lot of stuff. Now, Mullen here, I think that there was a little bit more of kind of a scammy feel than there was to Rivian and Lucid. By the way, I think the only reason Lucid's not at 0 here is because of the Saudi backing. That makes a lot of sense to me. But Rivian, or Mullen, I beg your pardon, definitely felt worse than some of these other companies, but everything else that Jay's mentioning here consistent across a lot of those EV companies. Yeah, and this here, Mark, I appreciate the discussion here on the EVs here. Mark's saying Rivian would be interesting as a buyout option from Amazon as they're making their vans. This is not bad. You know, a lot of people say they like the Rivian trucks. I see those Amazon Rivian vans all over the place. Maybe that's possible, but how much lower is the stock going to go before you get that buyout? You know?
Yeah, I think there's a whole, entire life cycle that has a company like Amazon trying to stay away from getting into EVs, because not only are they expensive to produce, they're expensive to maintain and well, not maintain, but to deal with the entire life cycle. Once that battery's bad, then you have to pretty much get a whole new vehicle, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that battery replacement or the battery servicing is one of the big headwinds for EVs, just kind of in general.
Yeah. And it's a very expensive to produce EVs as well. I mean, one of the things that Elon Musk was saying is how he had to put up some of his own money to stay in business, and how there was this the biggest hurdle to get over is likely going to be the one that's going to kill a lot of these EV manufacturers. Couldn't exactly remember what hurdle he was referring to, but it had to do with operational costs.
Yeah, I feel like getting into those markets can't be easy, especially if you don't have the technology to back it. Lynn saying root looks like you're trading root here to the upside. Nice little upside break there on root. 13. Before Anne-Marie shows up, I'm gonna step away for a sec here. You gonna be all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
BRB 1 sec, my man.
Did I try and look up Mullen on a Google map? I don't even know how often those are updated too. I remember when I had to when I moved to a new place, it didn't even have Google. It wasn't even coming up on Google Maps. I had to keep hammering Google with location data so that I could get my Amazon deliveries. So Sora can kill Photoshop. What's Sora? I'm gonna take a look at that. Is that? I guess it's not publicly traded. The lull is here. Jonathan Cooper, are you talking about in the market, a market lull? Because I've been anticipating something like that for a while now. It looks like Lunar is starting to come back. LUNR finally went sideways, and now it's starting to move up again. First time up back at this price in the past 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes. 1075 is the level I have that this could go up to, but they have VWAP in the way, so it may have a stop there first. What else are we looking at? EZFL just popped. Let's take a look. EZFL, Easy Fill Holdings. This is something we traded yesterday, I thought. Looks like it. Maybe just another not a relationship, a relative volume trade. That's why it's possibly coming back. What do you think, Ryan?
What's that? What did I miss?
EZFL, do you think this is coming back? We traded this, or not we traded, but this was moving yesterday. Had some movement in the morning and then came back in.
Ooh, yeah. No, I think you might be right. Maybe that bottom formation has been put in. The smoke tuna chart here showing you MACD histogram is positive. It might be slowing down a little bit here, but holding positive. Those two signal lines still pitching up too. I see a little bit of size above here at 194 on EZFL. For me, at this point, if I'm going to take this here for a day trade, let's see this come back in towards the VWAP a little bit and give us a better entry. But this one, yeah, this definitely, that pop on volume is probably going to put it on a lot of scanners there, Market Sniper. Oh, by the way, take a look at Lunar, folks.
Yep. We were just
reading your mind, wasn't I, 13? Reading your mind. Lunar pushing back up to that VWAP. Let's see if we get it. 60 cents away here.
Okay, Shug P is falling through the 200 EMA. This thing's, I'm just going to take off my radar.
Okay, real quickly here, just kind of buttoning up that Rivian conversation here. Stay focused, mentioning Ryan, it would be better to buy Rivian in bankruptcy. I think Amazon may hold on to that purchase until then. That is an interesting point, and that actually goes back to what Jay was saying earlier. Jay was saying, where can I can't find that there. Jay, I can't find your comment, but you were basically saying, why would they buy a company losing a whole bunch of money? Maybe they wait for bankruptcy and buy it for pennies on the dollar. That's a good call there. Stay focused. Maybe you're right on that. Stay focused. Real sharp guy. Love having him in our community here. Absolutely love that.
Looks like Zim's coming back down to another buy zone.
Yep. Let's see that drop beneath 12, maybe hold that 1175 could add to that swing here. I'm actually still waiting to add on that one. SNCR. Nice little move up there. Don't see new entry on this one, but good volume. Good price movement. Let's see what else we can find here.
Looks like MRVI is going to make a move pretty soon here. Let's get some volume expansion and we could make new highs.
Yeah, look at this coil. I great call here, 13. This is holding above the VWAP. The moves back down to the VWAP have been bought up. Looks like we're kind of coiling here, even on this 3-minute chart. Let's see. Let's actually bump this time frame up a little bit and see. We got a 5-minute in here, don't we? Coiling on the 5 too. 15, we don't necessarily have enough there. So yeah, this actually looking pretty good here, 13. Let's see if this can actually break to the upside. Got a little, actually, there's hardly any size above here.
There's just some, a bit of a wall at 816. That's really all I see. But this one could get moving here if we can hold these levels and we get some volume expansion.
Happy Friday to Jesse. Jesse, my man. Happy Friday, dude. Hope you're doing well. East is setting up. Okay, let's take a look at that before it ends up going. Let's take a look at the setup here on East.
Setting up to go north, I hope.
Hopefully. It is doing a decent job here holding that $1 level. Not a whole lot of volume here. I'd actually like to see a little bit more, especially on the move down.
So AXTI is trying to recover.
Trying to reclaim that VWAP there.
Yeah.
IFBD above some of those key levels there, Jonathan.
Lunar.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's going to need some volume. Lunar 13.
Lunar.
Oh, there we go. Are we
Go
going
back
to the moon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we thought of the same joke at the same time.
That's how lame we are.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's rubbing off. The dad jokes are rubbing off. What can I say? By the way, speaking of dad jokes, I actually want to take a second here. I want to take a second here and congratulate Mitch on his 2 baby boys. Now, on pre-market prep, I said 2 baby girls. I made a big mistake there. Sorry about that, Mitch. Congratulations to you and your wife on your 2 new boys. Those twins were born yesterday. He tweeted it out. So let's give a live trading warm congratulations to Mitch. Mitch, wherever you are out there, congrats. Hopefully things are going well. Looking forward to the next stage of your life. I said earlier, this is one of the only ways to become more mature and age quite a bit overnight. The birth of his 2 twins there. So congrats, Mitch. Really appreciate the love in the chat here.
Congratulations, Mitch, and good luck.
That's coming from a father, by the way. I'm not going to salt you up and come out here.
Oh, no. It is. Parenthood is an entirely different animal. You got this.
All right. 13. We got the mind meld going on today. I love it.
Yeah, it looks like I'm just kind of watching AXTI, MRVI, and Lunar. Those just seem to be the ones that are getting some pretty good attention. Looks like MNPR is also making some more moves as well.
VTYX from yesterday. This actually doing a decent job here holding above the VWAP. MNPR. Let me flip to that here. 13. Yeah, Jay, I was thinking the same thing. Only 7 more, and Money Mitch is going to have an entire baseball team to field out there. Wouldn't that be something?
Grandkids are also. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not a grandparent yet, but I see other grandparents in my life, and they just love to spoil their grandchildren.
Oh yeah,
drives me nuts.
I bet it does. Do your kids ever play good cop, bad cop with the grandparents and you? You give them some bad news, then they go to the grandparents and ask them, see if maybe they can get a different answer.
No, that happens within the household.
Okay. I got you.
Mom and dad.
Mom and dad.
But hey, at least they're using their political channels correctly.
Oh man, congrats, Mitch. All jokes aside, congrats. Tuna got millions of grandkids. Tuna putting in work.
Yeah, I think it might be time to keep that belt on.
Well, I think he's referring to being a fish.
I know. Oh, I got you.
But you're right.
I was trying to make a joke.
Nope, I got you. That's what we do here. We get a little frisky on Friday, I think. And INOD's still coming back in. Apple at the lows here too.
MRVI is looking to make new highs here.
Let me bring that up.
Looks like AXTI is in the process of doing that. This is good.
MRVI, but it's breaking out of that coil that we literally just talked about. Let's see if we actually take the top off on that one. By the way, interestingly, on Lunar, we made a move back towards that VWAP. Didn't tap it, but guess what? Coming back in now on Lunar. Again, I maintain this VWAP going to be the big level until it isn't here today.
Oh, I must say that trading is much better this morning than it was yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. I was looking at Amazon here. And actually, I can actually bring up a better chart here for AMZN.
Richard, my in-laws would agree.
Grandkids are the best kind of kids. Okay, let me flip over here to my bigger chart here. Here's what I'm looking at on Amazon. We've got Amazon running up to this 175. You can see this has been a near-term resistance area. If we back out, excuse me, we're actually still a bit beneath these all-time highs here. I've got that at about 188 and change. I think that number is like 188.56, 188.65 on that number. So the first thing I want to see here, 175, probably 180, then 188.65 on Amazon. I actually like this higher here. Got a nice little island that we kind of back tested the bottom end of that channel. Now we're pushing, looking like we're going to try to take some new highs. Remember, I am long Amazon via a butterfly to the upside. So would like to see Amazon move here, but we're getting some good movement here today.
What's going on with polished smoked tuna? Oh, there's
is
MRVI.
Is that ticker POL?
Yeah, there's MRVI breaking out to the new highs. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, sure is. That broke north right out of that coil. That was a great setup. I actually should have taken that with you.
Yeah, I like the way this one's working out.
IBM, this one looking good here.
I love IBM.
I know you do. I know you. Dennis was actually asking for, hey, what AI play can I get that's not NVIDIA? I suggested IBM. A couple of people in the chat roasted me, but IBM looking pretty good here today. That's for sure.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think IBM was kind of the under the radar AI play.
Yeah, indeed.
Nobody was talking about it.
You and Jay were the two that I remember talking about IBM from way back. By the way, NASDAQ at lows here. We opened up right at that high print. We are at the lows here on the NASDAQ. I bring up the Qs here to show you. So that we're still green. We're still green, but barely hanging on here.
Ooh, MNPR with a knife.
Knife right to VWAP. Crashed all the way back to VWAP.
Yeah, Lunar coming down. MRVI made new highs. Now it's coming back in. Things might be cooling off. Same thing with AXTI. So I have no positions right now. I'm just gonna let things sell off a bit here.
MNY. This actually a nice little spike off that VWAP level. MNY.
Money Hero.
Money Hero.
It sounds like a low float penny stock name, is it? Okay, well, it's under $3. So far it's looking like it. I don't even know what the float is, but they have 38 million outstanding shares.
AXTI doing the same thing with the knife down. Let's take a look at that one. That one we actually had levels for. We actually had a trade on this one earlier.
So MRVI is now halted.
Let me go back to let me cue that up here. SUGP just resumed as well. Yes, Jay is mentioned here. NVIDIA 20 points off of the high. And AMD went green to red pretty hard. What do you think, Jay? You think we're getting one of those reversals here on tech? Is this maybe the end of it? What are your thoughts on that? No wrong answers. Just wondering what you're looking at. Or wondering what you think. Sorry, you told me what you're looking at. Duh.
Oh, what's the SPY doing?
Ooh, Carvana looks like that came in a little bit off that. Yeah, sure did. Carvana coming in off that $76 high that we had earlier, down about 5 points here. See if we can reclaim that VWAP.
Not saying that it is, but Lunar might be getting ready to try to push higher over VWAP again.
Let's bring it up. Let's take a look. 13.
It's kind of creating that a bit of a pennant. It's just it needs to hold this above 10. I think if we can't hold 10,
it needs to get above this VWAP, dude. It is every time that it has got anywhere near it, it has been met with sells. That has got to change for us to take this long.
Yeah, and I think it just needs to hold above 10, and if it's going to try to make that move above it.
The more tests we get, the more likely that is to break down. So keep that moving. EZFL being mentioned here by Market Sniper. Yep. EZFL.
Okay, and it's breaking down beneath 10.
EZFL, this is a big push off the VWAP here. Jay answering the question here. No idea. I know that you meant no idea. But when I see a bunch of price target raises after big moves, it's a bit of a caution flag. I'm with you there. And on the inverse, when you see downgrades on stocks after a move down and they don't really sell off much anymore, that is the inverse of that. a potential bottoming out here. But there's your point's well taken here on some of those tech names. EZFL. Yeah, I might have missed it. I might have missed it, Smoke Tuna, but the chat scanner has not let anybody down all week. The chat scanner has been on point. You guys definitely deserve a pat on the back. Kevin asking about Docu earnings. Docu will always be a memory for me. One of the teammates here, Jake Crandall, had an amazing earnings trade on Docu on one of those where it just completely fell out of bed. So I will always remember Docu for that. What do I have, or what do I think on this for the upcoming earnings? To be quite honest with you, I haven't really taken a look at it. I hadn't thought about playing this for earnings. Let me take a look at the bigger chart here and see if I can't come up with something for you.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still getting explored for a takeover, but no matter what happens with that, there's no way there's anybody's ever going to pay the higher prices that the company was going for back in 2021, I think is when they were getting really crazy. So there's going to be a lot of unhappy bag holders if they do end up getting bought out.
Yeah, here's the one thing I will say about Doc. Looking at this daily chart here, it actually looks like it's at a pretty decent level. We've got the 100-day and the 200-day really kind of converging at this point. We're kind of trading sideways here, maybe even coiling a little bit on this daily chart. For a trade, this actually is not terrible right here. Now earnings, that's first of all, earnings in 13 days. That's going to be March 7th, which is a Thursday after the close. Maybe we get a run up to earnings. Maybe the trade here is a trade on a move up into earnings. This could maybe trade up towards that $57 level. We've got that as the 50-day and 59 as that 500-day. Maybe you can actually, it looks like a fairly decent entry point right now. Maybe swing that into the earnings. I wouldn't hold this through earnings personally. You do what your risk plan tells you. I would not hold this one for earnings, but maybe if we get a run up here, potential long side trade.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else they do. I thought this was just kind of like a one-trick pony company. What are they? What are their products? I know that they have the online DocuSign product, but I don't know what else they have beyond that. And I could see this being important stock when home buying starts to pick back up. There'll be plenty of uses for that. But what else does this company do?
I don't know. I mean, I've only used DocuSign for the rare occasion of electronically signing some important documents. How often do you do that? That's actually a really good point.
So, I mean, I know there's people that probably use it every day, but I don't think I just don't know what other products they have. I think that's just one of those one-trick pony companies.
Take a look at Lunar.
Oh yeah,
Lunar. Right back down that VWAP. That's it.
Not that we couldn't double bottom here if this holds up down at this level, but yeah, breaking down beneath 10, that was not good. And now there's a lot of sell orders at 985. So if this is going to come back up, the buyers really have to step in. It's going to give it a shot. Here we go.
Adobe should buy Docu. Yeah, that seems right on.
That would make sense. I could see a lot of use cases for that, but what's it worth? What are they going to pay?
That's the really good question. I don't have an answer for you.
And like I said, nobody's going to pay the price that this was going for 2 or 3 years ago. So it could be like something like what is DocuSign even trading right now? I think it could be maybe about $90 a share, probably the best case scenario that you could get for that company.
I'm just going to start rolling through some more tickers here. ATXI, that reclaimed the VWAP. Let's see if this pops a little bit here. VTYX. How are we doing there? Ooh, that at the highs here. Man, this gave us multiple. I was sleeping on this one. This one was the trade here today.
Looks like AXTI is coming back again. Trying to make it through.
I love our GME Solana crowd in here. Full disclosure, the trading platform that you see on the screen here does not have altcoins as part of the data feed. I'm not ignoring you, but that's why I'm not bringing it up here. Appreciate you guys hanging out here. Crypto, not my forte, although I am a hodler. I am a hodler on some of the original coins. So I'm with you there, but I'm not ignoring you guys. I don't have that data here in the feed. You guys are the greatest though. Diamond hands. Oh, we're gonna get some diamond hand emojis up in this.
Looks like MRVI is also trying to make a comeback as well. You know, some of these just aren't breaking down too badly, and they're starting to recover. So
ATXG being mentioned by Tuna here. Let's take a look at that. VTYX is the trade. I agree with you there.
So GLP alternatives are coming back. Is that what the read is?
On VTYX. Well, you know, we've talked a lot about that. There's going to be a ton of competition in this space. We haven't seen the last of it. Even if we are in the first half inning of this entire story and thesis, did I not pull it up here? Even if we are in the first half inning of this entire thesis and all that, the amount of competition that's going to flow into this, or the amount of new companies doing this. I mean, Hims already has one. There's Row out there. I just feel like there's going to be such saturation with these over the year. I'm not sure that one of these is going to be the pick. And I also imagine these take market share away from things like Eli Lilly.
I didn't know that Hims had one.
I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah, here, let me look that up. Did I just misspeak and you're calling me out on it?
No, I'm not calling you out.
No.
I thought they did a whole bunch of other stuff. I didn't know they were in GLP as well.
Him and Hers roll out weight loss program with future plans to include GLP-1 drugs. Here is the news story. We're going to toss that in the chat.
I mean, now I really feel dumb for not getting into Hims when I thought it would have been a good idea a couple of years ago. Let me take a look at the stock, because I mean,
actually, you know what? I'm not sure I've taken. Oh my God, Dan Ives. You guys, I don't know. For some of you guys, I don't know if you like flashy dressing and all that. Dan Ives has the most pastel jacket I've ever seen, and his choice of shirt is wild. I'm sorry for the digression. Let's get back to Hims here. But man, oh man, I saw that out of the corner of my eye. I couldn't unsee it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it could happen, but if it has a good report, maybe 12 is on deck for Hims.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, it's really got to break out of this. What is this 10? And then yeah, maybe I think you might be right there. And it doesn't look like a whole lot at 11. Maybe you're right on Hims.
Looks like AXTI is still trying to. AXTI is going to get an EMA crossing VWAP here in the next 5 to 15 minutes. That could be a signal for this to go higher. Lunar's still trying to come back. Not doing too bad of a job either.
Let's see. Let's bring that up here.
It did make a higher low.
Indeed. And I was just going to, the mind meld is nuts today, 13. We're both ready for the weekend.
We drank the right coffee this morning.
We sure did. Sure did. We made the right choices. Mistakes were not made today. Lunar, yeah, this actually looking like this is doing a good job. Maybe this is what we needed, right? Maybe we needed to confirm a bottom first. Now, step 2 of a potential mean reversion trade will be taking out that VWAP and actually holding above it instead of getting rejected at it here. Maybe this does work out here. I'm going to stay put on Lunar. I'm going to not trade this. I actually got a lot of stuff coming up after the show here. I'm not going to be able to babysit these trades, but interesting nonetheless. Lunar, Smoke Tuna was mentioning Lunar had a wall there, 1019. That would be the spot to get over here. ZFL getting mentioned. This is a nice move back down to VWAP. See if we've got another push here on EZFL. A number of people mentioning ICU in the chat. Ken, good morning. Good to see you here again as well. ICU bottom into you. Actually, this is a really good call. This might be. Look at this. We had intraday on this 3-minute chart. I'm showing a quadruple bottom here on ICU. Great call, Ken. Great call. Remember, these are all short-term levels that we're talking about for short-term trades. And the other thing to keep in mind here, any piece of news, when we're taking a look, especially at these short time frame charts, any piece of news or fundamental catalyst can upend the entire thing. So keep that in mind here. So we got a bottom call here in Rivian. I am not going to say that. Maybe we have intraday here. Same deal here with Lunar, though. Let's see what this does at the VWAP. We want this to be able to move through it here. We had a long discussion here on Rivian earlier. I'm not sure. Maybe it is for the day. Maybe the selling's been exhausted here for the day. I don't think that the bottom is in long term for Rivian.
Yeah, I'm just
Wisdom.
watching.
Good morning, my man. How do we do? We do well. We do better
do.
now that you're here as well.
Good.
We do good.
MRVI, I think this is still looking like it's going to try to break out of this 810 handle.
I think you're right. This was you were on this one early. That's really good. Space Tech 9, good morning, Benzinga. Thank you for everything that you do, GME. Hey, you know what? Thank you folks for being pleasant on the internet. There are some of these crypto clans that come in here and all they want to do is smack talk. You folks have been awesome. Happy to do the things that we do. And by the way, your avatar with the screaming kitty with the hat and the 1 billion necklace, that's choice. That is choice. You know I like that.
Yeah, I'll never.
Carvana's back alive? No way. It's
Maybe
alive. 13. It's going right through that VWAP.
Come on, MRVI. It's doing its thing. Just slowly. And I'll never tell anybody not to trade crypto or do that. If you're making money off it, then absolutely keep doing it.
Oh yeah, no. And look, and here's the other thing. I've when it comes to crypto, like I was just saying here earlier, I'm a hodler. I hold Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. I'm going to be doing it for a while. To me, it's an all or nothing trade, right? I don't really trade it back and forth. I don't have a good feel for that. I'll hodl it. I'll say this. I don't. First of all, I don't think Bitcoin's going away. I know blockchain's not going away. And the other thing I'll say is that I don't think that the full use of Bitcoin, blockchain, all of that stuff, if we want to tie it up together, I don't think that's been fully realized yet.
No,
I really don't. And so for me, I'm okay to wait and see. I got a very small percentage of my overall portfolio, my overall investable funds in Bitcoin. Even with the big moves that it makes, the gyrations don't really freak me out at all. My first buy of Bitcoin was when Bitcoin was 6K. So, I mean, I'm looking at it here at 50K. It just makes me laugh. So no big deal there on Bitcoin, but I can't tell you from day to day what it's going to do. I do watch it, but
for me, I've never really completely understood the application as it pertains to being a currency or an asset. But when I see what blockchain can do for things like the medical industry or supply chains or elections, it's got so much potential. I just haven't realized it yet.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, like I know the question that everyone has: what do you think the Bitcoin price is going to be? Where do you think Bitcoin finally settles, or whatever word that you want to use for it? I don't have an answer for you on that, to be quite honest with you. I don't. Maybe it's $1 million, like some people are saying. Maybe it's 20 cents. I don't know. But I'm in for the ride. I want to expose myself to the risk. The entire story and thesis of Bitcoin to me is intriguing more than anything else. Yeah. Wisdom saying holding crypto is rubbish, and that looks like a facepalm. No, that is a raise the roof. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's throwing it into a guy. I don't know what the emoji is. Wisdom, holding crypto is rubbish. That's what makes the market. You and I are on the opposite side of that. It doesn't matter. I love you anyway.
I'm personally rather hold precious metals.
Yeah. And to be a full disclosure here, by the way, I really want to start buying actual physical gold or silver that I can put in my safe. I'm not interested in any ticker that represents this or that. Not necessarily interested in some of those coins that come pre-graded or anything like that. Give me an ingot. Give me a big chunk.
Yeah, and
100-ounce ingot.
I'm right there with you, and part of the reason is that we're not going to. This is not going to be the last time that we print as much money as we have been. We're going to continue to introduce more money supply into the economy, and totally. When that happens, it's just going to it's going to dilute the dollar, but it's also going to make gold and silver and precious metals more valuable.
Indeed. Jane saying, thanks for the great week. Going on my cruise and see ya after next week. Happy trading.
Nice.
Jane, nice. All right. First of all, great job here this week. You've been doing a great job just in general recently. Enjoy that cruise. What, Alaskan cruise, Western Caribbean, Eastern Caribbean, Mediterranean? What are you looking at here? Enjoy that cruise. Be safe. We'll keep the market warm for you. We'll make some money when you get back. Yeah, buy gold at Costco. Lynn, I know that you're kind of, there's some seriousness to this. There's also a little elbow nudge joke to this, but you're right. I would consider doing that. The Costco that I go to has not had them in stock any of the times that I've been there. But this would be something interesting. I'd be interested in that.
I remember saying when Costco first started mentioning that they were going to sell gold, I was like, those are going to fly off the shelf. People are going to buy all those up. And they did. And they did. Absolutely snatched them up.
Yep.
Oh, look at Lunar back up above 10.
No way. VWAP though?
No, not yet. But hey, the day is young.
The day is young. Jay saying, when Bitcoin first came out, I watched 4 hours of tutorials and still couldn't understand it. Yeah. I will say this is, I go back and forth on this. This gives me some bearishness, but this also gives me some bullishness because like I was just saying, I think when you have something that's really going to upset the apple cart or be a very different change from what we're accustomed to, there's going to be a lot of misunderstanding there. Jay, you're a real sharp guy. You've been looking at relationships for different markets, sectors, tickers, commodities, all of this stuff. So when they introduce a new one and we really can't make sense of it, that can definitely give you some trepidation. But furthermore, in terms of what Bitcoin means or represents, like I was saying, I don't know that any of us really know what the end game is. And because of that, I think that represents some potential upside. Now, I could very easily be wrong. I'm certainly not making a pitch for Bitcoin, I'm just kind of addressing how I took a look at it and how I actually kind of accepted that risk for a longer term trade. You're not wrong, though. You're not wrong. It is difficult to understand.
Not to switch gears on crypto because
no, it's all good.
Talking about, but you're mentioning that one GLP drug company was the trade. I don't know. Root looks like it's been the trade as well. This thing's just it rises and it kind of pulls back a little bit and then it pops again, pulls back a little bit, popping again. This could keep going. Could keep going.
Okay, so Jane, you're doing the Eastern Caribbean one. Which one was that? Was that the Nassau, St. Thomas, St. Martin? That might be the other one. Anyway, whatever it is, you enjoy it. You've done a great job. Keep it up. Yeah. Hey, K-Chat, Ryan, you're doing a great job. We love you. Nice. Hey, I'll take that's such a nice thing to say. I love it this morning. You folks are all awesome.
Yeah, put that in your cup of coffee and drink it.
Well, my cup of coffee is empty, unfortunately. I don't think I need any more caffeine here today. Maybe after my golf lesson.
Yeah, just one more. Why not?
13, just trying to throw some gas on the fire here.
Well, why don't we just redline it today, Ryan?
Well, we're going to redline it all the way to 11 a.m. There is, we're going to go all the way up until the end. Nothing after us, so keep that in mind here.
Speaking of 11, looks like Lunar wants it. I mean, we're really right back up to VWAP or my VWAP. We're getting really close there, and I don't know. I mean, it's got some levels to break through, but 1075 is the big one I'm waiting for it to touch. MRVI, that one's moving quite nicely.
This MRVI, this sure looks like this wants to pop.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's got that feeling. We also have that 200-day at 909 here. So a pop and some mo here could actually take it to that. That's a full point above where we're at. Jim saying, don't try to fix too many things at the same time with golf, Ryan. That is a really good piece of advice. Jay, let me know if you have any piece of advice. One of the things that I've been working on recently, Jim, that I've really kind of been focusing on is keeping the club head inside my hands on my downswing. Before I had it coming out way too far, and that was pushing the ball all over the place. But I'm trying to work on that. That's the focus right now. That is the singular focus there right now. Good advice, though.
Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to take. Could be 5 minutes, could be 15. But MRVI looks like it really wants to take out that 820 area and just go absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, I've got 822, but you're right, 820 to 822, that spot here. The other thing that's encouraging about this, other than the volume, which is encouraging, and other than the move and the build above the VWAP that we're seeing here, the other thing is that any time that this thing is dipped, the buyers stepped in. In fact, they didn't even wait a long time to step in here. That tells me that this could potentially go higher.
Yeah, I do like it when these stocks hold their levels. Lunar was doing that. AXTI still kind of doing that. I mean, AXTI, it opened and it went all the way up to the the $4 area, and we've just been trading around that all morning.
This one looks like it's compressing a little bit.
Yeah. Sure. I have to think that Lunar's gonna take 11 though. It just feels that way, and maybe it won't, but.
Well, you know what? That would be above the VWAP, so that would actually be pretty good for the trade.
Okay, I think we got MRVI now. I think it's going. It's trying to. Here come the sellers.
To break out there. It's trying to do that.
Got right up to, let's see, was that at the 827? Yep, got right up to the intraday high and got slapped a little bit, but I don't think it's done. Don't think it's done. I think we could get this move here in short order.
This is a nice little tip here too. Get a band to put around your arm so you can keep the club under control. Do that while you're at the range and you'll see a nice improvement over time. Stay focused. That's a really good idea. I could probably easily do that.
Today on Live Trading, we're going to be looking at stocks, crypto, and golf tips.
Golf lessons, baby. You know me, man. I tell you what, I know it's not even March yet. We're at the end of February here, but I can't wait. I'm like waiting for the courses to open up around here. You thought I was on fire this week. Just wait till I'm golfing every week, man.
You're waiting for March to golf. I'm waiting for March for crawfish.
There you go.
That's when they're in season. Give me those
there
mud
you
bugs.
Go.
Looks like Lunar's doing it. They're at the we went through VWAP here just a moment ago, trying to get pushed back down.
So I don't have it through my VWAP yet, but that's interesting. Let's watch it right here. We're actually getting that tap. We're getting that test as well.
No, Wisdom. I don't think we did cover cart. MRVI
That's
not ready.
Instacart, right? Maple Bear.
MRVI not quite ready. It looks like, but yeah, it did it did make a slightly higher intraday high, but now it's coming back in. Like I said, it could be 5 minutes, could be 15. I still think this thing is going to go, but we just aren't quite there yet. And I think that one, I think MRVI, AXTI, and Lunar are all just getting ready to go. Root is just absolutely a freak right now. I think this one also had some squeezing in it as well.
Yeah, sure. This is a big push here. Nice move out of this range too.
Oh yeah, over 10% short float shorted with almost 14 days to cover. That'll squeeze some shorts.
We're getting a Pan W call here. We're getting a Pan W call.
Is it time for Pan W?
I don't know. Well, let's bring it up here and take a look. This one, I'm waiting for the end of the day here. Okay, so this came back into VWAP, making another move towards those highs. Voodoo, I think your spot on this was a move above 314. I don't know if we'll get that here today, but that's something to watch here. Pan W looking good, and that third close above the 200-day also looking good.
Those three I mentioned are showing weakness at the moment. It looks like MRVI is going to flush a bit. But we still above VWAP, so we'll see what happens. AXTI still holding up there. It's starting to move.
You know what? I just pulled that into the wrong platform here. Let's see on AXTI. Still holding that VWAP there.
Mm-hmm.
Still scalping Pan W, not ready to take that one. Pan W, it's day 3. Exactly, Jay. I want that close to be above, and it sure looks like we're going to get that. So,
Wisdom saying ticker H for Hyatt.
let's take a look at Hyatt.
Okay.
Was that earnings here this morning on Hyatt? What happened?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, let's take a really quick look at NVIDIA. I promised you we were going to cover some of the NVIDIA options trades that Anne-Marie gave you on Wednesday. We got a huge move out of NVIDIA. Let's go ahead and check out how it goes. Anne-Marie, you all set to go? Thumbs up? Oh, nope. Looks like not quite yet.
Yeah,
I have got a Hyatt Global member. I've heard that thing is sweet. That thing is sweet. NVIDIA, this actually looks like this is slowing down here.
Those 3 stocks, the ones that I mentioned, those are just the ones I'm looking at. I think something's either really big or really good or really bad is going to happen with these. They just have a great setup, in my opinion. Yeah, I really.
SMCI near the lows here still.
ENVB is shooting.
Oh, did it really? Did it just do its fake? Yeah, it sure did. Yeah, look at that. And actually above where I bought it. Oh, what a bummer in there. What a bummer. Just flushed out some of those weak hands, of which I was one, and ENVB going back up to that VWAP. Now, here's the thing. Let's see if we can actually cross and break that VWAP. We've seen ENVB move before. Let's see if we get that again. Downtrend doesn't look great.
Are you doing it, Lunar? Are you doing the thing? Went up to the 200 EMA. And got kicked back down a bit. 1075, that's still the level I want.
I'm going to roll through some more scanner stocks here real quick. I'll go to Lunar here in a sec. EasyFL still at that VWAP, SNBR. Let's look at some of these scanner stocks. Sleep Number. They must have reported earnings here today too. Let me check on that.
I didn't know they were publicly traded.
Yeah, me either. Let me just make sure that I think this is the Sleep Number offers individual matches. So you know how the NFL says that 94% of NFL players use Sleep Number?
I was just thinking about Dak's commercial.
You know, Dak has a commercial, right? You live in Texas. Yeah, I don't know that I've seen that one. Interestingly enough, though, you know what I think they do? I think there's a deal. Let me fix this chart here. I think there's a deal with the NFL. And what they do is they send all of the players' beds. And if the players don't return or get rid of the bed, they consider it them choosing it. And that's how they get this 94% number. I have no inside knowledge of that. That's just kind of what my gut tells me in there. I have no experience with the Sleep Number bed. Would love to hear if anyone thinks that's worth it.
Yeah, just still waiting for things to shake out here. Looks like MRVI is still, I mean, could start to go right here. I don't know.
It's MRVI. I already have a feeling how this is going to go, 13. Later today, I'm just going to be minding my own business. Maybe I'll even be at my golf lesson, and I'm going to get a text from 13 that says, MRVI finally went. Booked. Because it's just the frustration of it banging on the door. The setup is right there. You're right there. And then when that trade finally works, there's going to be some relief coming from 13.
Well, I've already traded this several times this morning. I'm not in it at the moment. It's got a lot of supply at 819 that I'm a little concerned about. But, we get that volume expansion, it'll just eat right through it. Are you looking at anything in particular?
No, I'm handling a side issue here. Yeah, so we actually had a technology issue with Anne-Marie. We will bring her back on. By the way, that NVIDIA trade, that is in the wait state. So we will cover that next week. Sorry about the errant tease there. Marion mentioning Pan W. Yeah, I'm going to keep a close eye on Pan W as we get closer to the close there. Elon bringing up Baidu here real quick. I know we only got like 3 minutes left here, but let's close it with a bang.
Okay.
By the way, that new Mike Breen commercial where he just yells bang over and over is actually kind of funny. Real quickly here, Baidu and Baba, very possible to break out here. Now Chinese markets are curling up. Their EVs are another story. Here's the one thing to keep in mind about Baidu. We had a Citron tweet yesterday on Baidu. They're long Baidu. They, I believe, someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I believe they gave it a 210 price target on Baidu. Citron has done really good with their longs. They do good research. Just they do good research there, and their longs often work. Now, I have no position here on Baidu. I'm not necessarily racing out to buy this one, but keep that in mind. That actually happened yesterday. In fact, let me see if I can't get that.
Luna really coming back down.
Check myself on that.
Looks like MRVI is trying to take out the highs.
Yes, buy rating. So Citron said buy rating 210 price target on the Chinese tech giant. Okay, my memory is not that terrible. Let's go. You said MRVI, right? Let me flip over to that. Let's take a look. 823.
Yeah. It's got to get over 829 and then
God, we're knocking on the door here. I see that size at 829.13. Let's see.
You get through that, it's going to jump at about 10 cents.
Okay, Lynn, this is actually a good suggestion. Suggestion to help us out. Talk out loud about your entries and exits. So one of the things, I'm guilty of this. One of the things that I will often do is I'll say, okay, this looks like a good buy right here, or let's exit right here. And stream delay, volatile stock, that here could mean a number of different prices. Lynn, this is well said. I will do my best to try and change that and give you actual numbers. I'm already in the habit of doing that for other things, so this should be a very, very easy change to make. Really good feedback. Keep it coming.
There's MRVI, new highs.
Looks like just by like about a penny or two there. Yep.
Yeah, I think it was about 4 cents.
4 cents. Yeah, I think you're right. And you know what? Looks like some of those offers that were sitting out there on the ask, looks like those are kind of thinning up now that we took that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think MRVI still has a good shot at going a little bit higher.
Yeah, I don't think the trade is in yet for this one. I think this might be a later day trade that we sometimes see. Okay, folks, it is 11. I really want to appreciate everyone for sticking around. This was a great week. The NVIDIA thing, I mean, it was crazy, right? The move was crazy. Really did kind of feel a little bit dead after it, but we'll see where we go here. We've got some cloud earnings reports next week. I think we've got some Fed stuff next week. Check me on that. You're normally up on those Fed dates. You got a couple of data prints, don't we?
Next week, yes, we have GDP on Thursday. And we have PCE on Friday. I think those are going to be the two big ones to watch for.
Yeah, and I said Fed prints. I'm sorry. Things that the market will look at, maybe even including the Fed. But okay, good stuff here. Thanks again, 13. Just an absolutely great week. You folks are all awesome for joining us. Keep an eye on that Pan W. I'll update you, let you know if we ended up taking that swing. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. Really appreciate Stay Focused joining the chat. And have a good one, folks. We will see